나라서 저한테 주발이 받아야 되는데 저한테 가디나 컴플레인 못와 주발 가지는 컴플레인 뭐를 봐 주라 만들어 주제도 그러면 컴퓨터마다 뭔가 성질을 확하는 저 그런 사람 skills 뭔가 추고야 근데 돌봄 추제하게 되죠 안에 돌봄 for example 추제하지 안에 돌봄 나도 척제 처음 동전한다 아주 동전 추제도 이때 진짜 담바다지 통 어디가 거반다지 통 처음 동전 강갑해서 야야야야 아니 그래서 같이 하다 보니 진짜 땅바 잡는 이런 거 쳐서 그러니까 근데 댄싱 제거든 다 댄싱 제거지 저 싸우친 거 처음 for example yavar bachi perhaps 맞을 때 된다는 건 다들 파티에 침배인데 맞을 용도 맞아. 이게 다지 뭔가도 된다는 게 skills 말인데 취다 직딩이 개침 봐서. 걔네들 저 boyfriend 됐어. 내가 할래서. my girlfriend 됐어. 또 할래서. 뭐 business 게 직접 చేస్తాం 나지. Bottom line is lazy. But the social solemn but in the city yellow the mark. I tell a car go in the monetary chicken, some lay up and burn. Timber top. Timber top at the gum that the guys is gum and aren't of Zoja on my chinnock and dictate my top. Taban told me mumble and around the Casanter of Zoja. 남친 그 센저 섬기면 겨가지고 아론선 단다만 축보야 인텔리전트야 하이야 로야 강가 먼저 로스통 비는데 로스통 녀석 비는 센저 찍은 누가 마신 주변은 그런 사람 100 million 마켓에
$100 million.
But you get I worked. I have something back in the person said, $100 million. Then it's around. But the car got the chula, riding the cars around this jump drug in the Sanjay that chula again, then get young than the mountain, chicken. Horror is still the mountain. The marine button. Then it's him, but talk by you got the mountain. 그다음에 좀 야침 시기탄 매 시간이 맞을때 시기래다 단단히 시기 말이면 감각신로 건도다 마시고 말 뭐가 나로 건도다 나나고 말 뭐가 게임코 porto 모드 차라가 저거 말해서 소체 삼나탕에 시건 안에 찍대는 데니 소좀 고카르고 이바다 하고 음탐 소매바다 소강가다 어바고 소정나다 하고 뭔데 토바나 니르마지단 그러니까 최신 잭슨인 거. 마이클 잭슨 도저 뭔가 피어지는데 다른 아이들 로전전 이제 시기면 이제 대상 뭔가 조사나다 엔 모르토 추앙에 받았어. 대상 조사도 가는 거.
마이클 잭슨 거 가르친 거.
마이클 잭슨 때는 뭐 뭔가 좀 뭔가 조사요. 근데 애글이야.
이게 뭔 거야?
저는 그냥 맞으면 좀 마스 애글이. 직전에 애글이야. 나 피티나다 예시가 solve. To go to some other country, take this my treasure. Can you pour in the milk, milk? chocolate milk shake. And then who can say? Let me get up.
Let me get up.
Gobble up.
Gobble up.
Let me take over. What do you think? We're in time. Don't see the in time.
That's us.
Right there.
That's us.
It's hiding.
Oh, what they do.
That's a once brother. We're gonna go Hawaii again. Shocking and delighted. So delicious. Okay. And the Taba Malcolm and the Taba Tiluma. Tabas and the Koro Taba. There are the young Tabas and it don't have the channel to Samatunga. That's what the Shiga comes.
So there are a number of old Dharma practitioners here this morning, and having spent a lot of time in Dharma, then you've had a lot of opportunities to complain. To complain about your lack of success in the world, your lack of success in Dharma, how you really can't do Dharma. So we, over the long period of time, then we come up with many, many excuses for why we have to practice Dharma according to our wishes or expectations. Of course, we need Dharma, but we tend to slip into other priorities. For example, if this evening there it's planned and it was after 9 o'clock, then people would say, "Oh, I really want to come," but then something else comes up. He says, "Oh, there's this dance that I've been invited to, and it's really like a high priority, so I'll have to go to that tonight. But certainly I'll come some other time." Or even if His Holiness Dalai Lama comes to the Bay Area, then people may, maybe they have a party the day before he comes, and then they sleep in, and they missed it by that much, but they're very remorseful. Too bad they just slept in. Well, the issue there is simply the shifting of priorities, holding the mundane priorities over the Dharma or spiritual priorities, including holding one's boyfriend or girlfriend as being more important. One's business is really the bottom line or the highest priority. And all of these types of kind of misguided priorities are really just expressions of having an inadequate or insufficient store of merit. So to counteract all of that whole tendency of getting sucked up into the mundane, it's important to reflect upon the nature of impermanence, of samsara as a whole, of death and impermanence, making it up close and personal, and recognize that this is not it's not just a Buddhist truth, it's something that's made up, that we've contrived, but it is really one of those deep facts or realities about this world we're living in. And as we cast our attention backwards into the distant past,
Thank you.
that'll wake us up. Then we can see over the last couple of thousand years there have been countless rich people, smart people, people in high status, low status. But over these couple of millennia, how many have lived, having lived 1,000 years ago, are still alive, who've been able to evade the reality of impermanence and death? If you find some really long-lived person like that who's been hanging around for hundreds of years, I give you a big prize. I'll find some patron and we'll write you $100 million check. In fact, I can write it right now. It might bounce, but I'll still have a check. And so I've spoken at some length about the importance of refuge and why refuge, the taking of refuge, often doesn't really have much depth to it or much authenticity to it. And that comes from, in part, not really appreciating and understanding the qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, not understanding the detrimental qualities of samsara, and not really taking to heart the reality of impermanence in death. And so we tend to shunt these things off, to put them off at arm's length, saying whether it's with respect to death, that death is for other people. Even if it's for me, it's not for me now, it's not for me in the near future. And likewise, we may know other people are ill, but of course we know we're not like them. Other people get old, but we're different. And other people are dying right now, but of course we're in a class by ourselves. To overcome that type of delusional self-image, all we need to do is look into the mirror. And as time passes, then we can see our hair turning gray, wrinkles appearing, our teeth falling out. we might try to do some damage control like Michael Jackson. But from my Rinpoche's perspective, he just looks like he's getting clearer and clearer. And so in this way, we act as if we are immortal, and we then put our treasures elsewhere. For example, there might be somebody behind me who's putting his treasure in his belly, feeding his treasure by milkshakes. This is a possibility. Other people may be looking over there with envious eyes, wishing I could gobble them all up myself. So the gist of this, joking aside, is impermanence. It's important to dwell on it, to really think deeply upon it, and to recognize the vain and pointless nature of simply perpetuating samsara.
Okay. I am the general some Matapa Gomna. Tombangaran Karabon, Koran Yamjimite, Korate, Sanjay Natabaya. Tinita Mandagaza Time Karamacho, Chilin Chigul, Children Metrat, Chimataba in Batama, Koi, Zenanda, the respect marching in Karina. They Mataba in Batako, Shida Shigite in Batakangati, Tini about the Giocomo Kangato, Church on Somala Chicken, sugar is a sugar. Nantala, Tele Kali Kayamari, Nashigumari taken the Kirizi. The Nyobada in the country. Vola Rajuna, Cooler Mamanda, Shamata, Tamai by the sugarism. Sugars. Kati sugarism? I don't know. Kandai sugarism? I don't know. The Hamoko walk on. Then your Lord Jagan on the sugar, stone bakers, stone baker, Lord Jaya Kalik. Lucky. That thing, but in Kadisha, but purchase a hard bond over the Rompas Chamatua, Lord to Chin on there, Lord Chin, Jaina. Lord some China, Lord Chin. Or the Chin, I can tell you. That thing, two talks about the window. Tapa the Naranse, long up chip to venture and then the check it. Cheron candidate cannot know a catcher. Peter Long Mombos party no Ashar Sunda. Japokashi is Gnawater, Dawakashi is Gnawater, Lokashi is Gnawashar. Shut. That's Malan. Dawakashi is Gnawashar, Mednos. Kale counter Chenata, Lomongo de Mata. Chinka Katsantin. They need that Genko in night and Chinka. Wow, can they then left some? How? Why happens? How happens? God teaches them. Then you teenage, oh, chicken curry on that. Okay, here, your share. Charan calendar is a bundle. Tinted the collective.
I got a share.
Fine.
Cutting.
Come back, we are Naya, in the Yama, Dormitory, the Chatter, the younger, Chatter Harpo, baby. You are. Then I younger. But the concentrate on your other. Mamma and I gave something in the Hakon in something. You might send the Jimmo Java than the Yatar. I said, Tonda Loga. They told the tit and the gave it Ganko Yata, Posat Chap. Cheton song, Mozart, Cheton song. The name I again got child and mature as a good one. Did Cheton song. How goes so easy? Sharon's a little. The chick did that on their kishan. Sharon to Pennicant, Zadis the 20 song. Then Cheton. Portamata, they oh, he's old, she's older than to die, Jagara. No, how about you? I'm still young, Jagara. How you can grant? Can't you sugar? Or the shitty thing not the country order. Yamara, secret, didn't it? Can they not on to choose your Michigan? Come back and long back or designate that. People are going to read the net. got across Kambadri Chi, then that Nagadri, Kambana Chim, the Tanandra, my mother. That did Kambanaji that Gonaji Chagat, the Duke shook here, the Mas Nyunga Machapi. Then it Tanda training chi, then it should have to Kale, then Chain Charans and some of that I get to Rogo Mare. Karabag. Gelmure Rogo Mare. Napare Gogo Mare. I am Mindu Gog Mare. Min you think it's a holiday came Mare. Charam Porto Inanda, Morto Inanda. Or some Chenlapton Canina yor. Silla in a yor. Chupo Inanda, Fango Inanda, Po Inanda, Mo Inanda, Pugu Inanda. Or Gulf or Gulma Sunders in Tamala yor. Chijeri Inanda. It's not Rambo Inanda. It's not Levle Inanda. Misepo Inanda. Carpo Inanda. Chotna Carpo the Capomai, Mumbo and Mumbo Mai. But Javar Michigan, Kajus. He don't know him, Sadina, white or blue or green or Tata. Yeah, non Tata, Chitata. Chomasan. Tie in the Chomas. Oh. Maybe person can be and Nam Tata, Cholo Tata. Cholo, go the Tata at Sandik. Catching the Genko idea, catching the Lojon Jonga idea, catching the scholar ideas, catching the Tanda still training idea.
Grazie. Playboy to him. So it's
like as ever, the top and there. Oh, yeah, that didn't in the Ganga. Doesn't matter, play boy or play girl or Ganga the Shijere, king or queen or leader or whatever. Ganga the Shijere, somebody. Charles put in the handsome and some. Nothing. Ganga the Shijere. Shijar Shimmer Gojere, the Nittersat the Ramon cemetery. Millions, Kasakal and Tersamon. Metratan with the Kanga, Tarat and the Roja Sambaran. That the side. New Jersey give me to the Shimmer Goreway. Sugar, yeah, local moment to Chicago. Moment. And that's sugar. How woman do Jonathan? Did the Chuba Nimbada Chaga? Chuba in the Chichi again said, she did a song of Tamatam, Chuba Tata. That's all. Somebody. She did your mother the top. Still there. Richard Shens of Lapatch into the pot. Don't get up on the pot. Go to God. Now I in a handsome, slick. All the ladies chasing him. Nice again. No. I don't think anybody wanted this. Crazy woman, maybe. But anyway, everybody we can die, and then do we have any ideas? Chima Chenang Achar Tavada Namjin Tokere. Mansama Domari Mulbaya Gumaransa Popa Yare Dunga Manu Popa Yare guarantee. I don't have any Gomari Nimagia Mopasa that Devi Yamari. Devi came and can lay him the came in. Came Alandan and Ricket that Mahmana, Devi made to my Devi. Oh, Chetan Nazo. Mataba de Gomda, Mataba de Charon to give in. Charon Solet, that's in Naron Solet, that's in the Tsipa Zacho dur dawa jo screen je chok melo sama to ya chule sama to teder entan to target at least oh that in the trolley lo yo de ko shigre khatar ma pi ta sama to chule ngok to ko kanga de shigre dona nyongre 제가 정말이 알아서 원처리에 되게 대체 내가 정말이 자자체는 약간 개발체 맞아 신부 공감은 듣고
So to return to the point, it's very important to be meditating on the reality of impermanence and death. This gives rise to an authentic spirit of emergence, or a sense of renunciation, wishing to escape from this round of samsara. But also with that insight or appreciation of the reality of impermanence and death, this gives rise to a sense of confidence and deepening faith in the Buddha. But there is a general tendency to have, on the one hand, a kind of a general knowledge of impermanence. That is, if people are asked, will you die? Well, we would all say, of course, yes, I'm going to die. No one would say otherwise. Only maybe a few crazy people, maybe a few people with horns growing out of their head, maybe they will say something else. But for the rest of us, no, we would all, of course, quite casually agree, oh yes, I'm going to die. But if we ask, when are you going to die? Then our response would be, I don't know. Exactly how are you going to die? Once again, you have to say, don't know. Will you live to 100? Will you live to 1,000? Well, if asked, will you live to 1,000? I think we'd all say no. Will you live to 100? We'd probably say that would be difficult. You'd have to be pretty lucky to live that long. So in a way, we do know. We do know something about our lifespan, and that is, it's not very long. It's relatively short. And if you're 50, 60, 70, you can be very confident your life is mostly over. So as you're anticipating the future, then you can, especially as you get older and older, you can then be wondering, well, am I looking at a matter of years, a matter of months, a matter of days? How long do you have left? In my case, I think in terms of months. Exactly how, what manner will we age? To what extent will we become sick? Exactly how will life unfold for us? How will life come to its conclusion? We don't know. What we can be sure of is that we will have our own share of adversity, of the pains of aging and so forth, but exactly what that share will be, what will be our lot, remains to be seen. What is certain, though, in the midst of all of this uncertainty, is that from the very moment that we are conceived, from the very moment of birth, with each day, our lifespan is decreasing in duration. And we like to put a nice veneer on it by saying as we get older and older, as we become old men, old women, that we're becoming more mature. That's a nice way to phrase it. Oh, you look very mature today. Or I'm feeling very mature. What we're really saying is you just look old. So how do you say? So when anticipating our own aging and then eventual dying process, it's easy to look at other people first and say, oh, but she's old. It looks like she's probably going to die soon. So as our eyes are gazing outwards, we see old age, we see death in others. But how often do we reflect upon ourselves? As we see an old man, an old woman, think, oh, they're going to die soon. Are you sure? Do you know who's going to die sooner? That person you're looking at, or you yourself? Whatever your opinion might be on that matter. What guarantee do you have that your hunch is correct? Do you really control your lifespan to control the time that you'll die? No one does. None of us have that. And as we get older, then eventually our joints begin to hurt, knees hurt. We experience just the pains, the discomforts of aging. And so knowing that this is what is in store, this is the very nature of aging itself, then it's important to recognize that now is the time to devote ourselves to training in Dharma. Now while we have the full ability, full opportunity, this doesn't necessarily entail or require or becoming gelongs, fully ordained monks, or nuns, or adopting glorious titles like Ngakpa, calling ourselves Ngakpas or Tantrikas, Vajrayana adepts. These are just names. And with or without those names, all of us, whether we're rich or poor, old or young, whether we're from the west, from the east, the blessings of the Buddha are available for everyone. Whether we have long noses or short noses, whether our complexion is yellow or white, whether you think you're a hotshot because you translate to the Dalai Lama, whatever color that guy is, so maybe multicolored. Then when we just turn to Mimi's expert, you have to determine. So in any case, and whether we're playboys or playgirls, whether we're kings or queens, whether we are leaders, we all have something in common. And that is that we all die. We're all subject to death, whether we're pretty or handsome. The world is turning into one larger and larger cemetery. If you travel around town, you can see one cemetery after another, and you can see which ones are already full. Or there's no place to bury them, and then they start burning the corpses because they don't have any ground in which to put them. So even if you're from New Jersey, even New Jersey, all women from New Jersey die as well. Is this something you think about? Probably not. We rather like to be devoting ourselves, attending to ourselves of situations in this world. There was some comment about Richard and his paws and ladies chasing him, but I don't think I got the whole background. So in the light of death, in the light of the realization that we are mortal, then we can anticipate, where is our life leading? Are we moving towards liberation and enlightenment? Do we really have the confidence that we will not take a miserable rebirth? If so, what's the basis of that confidence? If we think we're not going to suffer in the future, what is the basis of that? Especially if we have accumulated a lot of non-virtue in the past. Where is our guarantee that that will not ripen, will not experience the fruits of our non-virtuous behavior? So in short, the reality of impermanence can really serve as our teacher. As we heed that teacher, pay close attention to that teacher, then this will overwhelm a lot of afflictive impulses that we have. Whereas without that type of awareness, appreciation of impermanence and death, it's very easy for us to get irritated by even very small things. Tiny things can irritate us, make us heat all up. But with the awareness of impermanence, then we really start to cool it. And we need to recognize that right now we do have the power. We do have the power to practice Dharma. We have power to really control the course of our lives, and this takes place by taking care of our behavior, closely to the behavior of body, speech, and mind, and all together with this awareness that all of us, every single one, is mortal. Each of us will die.
Well, okay. And then the time has some. Yeah, Johnson did. She in Channels of Tibet. Mataba the son is security to go to my channel. To make him in the top in Channel to check you. I don't some numbers just in my doing. Magic is in Channel in Channel to check you. The lady in the Channel to check you. Channel to have over science, check the Dao don't get so good over. Dao don't get that machine and down Mumbai, Yano over the Mumbai. Masula than drinking up for a machine about my fine about my. Why don't you ticket New York? One way ticket. Return ticket. When Mason Kawaki, Mason Tom and Kawaki, not the Banarachi, reservation Chetsa. Over general, rest and the pardon, Mason. Saturn to matter. Other covered Mason, that dicks had all channels. The son of them. Not another young American, not Delhi, Napa. Thank you. Should come get in Mason years ago, they should have capable Mason years ago. And they are number one. Mason made them can be should be in American. number, yeah. The Poga number carrier, money. Somebody in the number, yes, about the Muslim. They did it. They gave a final, they bring young years. What thing somebody said, they cannot send to Kashis about my match. Maran said somebody, oh, congratulations. Is it come? The preaching chair and the starting and the so on that. I'm proud to say some custom on the master. Proud that he came over the such a rough. Pandala Shidi of the Tanka Mumbai, hero. Palace, the Shiran didn't come get the day. Darling with the one, no, you will. Chamba the Japato showing the courage in power in the grave, Tipoya in the grave, Dumar in the Xavier. Tandalis, some sheep, some of tongue, she. And the sort of come, tell by chip, some by chip, tell you come and oh, near drawing a machine. The courage of made the palm was something that they will live in the courage of us. Just like that's in the world. That's an amount. Chili younger than that. The Sunday, the chip again, so you are. Sunday Lam Tomba on the shit. Lam Tomba was in around and get already the Lam was a Tomba Mare. Tava the Nanching of Fonda. Around the needle. Lam Tomba, social move around in Tasma, Temba, Chupum Gyatrul Rinpoche. Pagalan and Nathan Jesus soon do the Sunday. Nathan Jesus. I know that when you get a challenge for the water. Not all. Sanjay thing are the Matati Lana, I don't know on Sugar, I don't know the stubborn, stupid tower, Marathon. I don't know means, how does it mean something? What can he? So, sort of a divan and matter of Germany, the man matter of machine. The man matter, divan, the Jetta, the law in the Kanka, Katabi. That one is a proud jet. Arrogance. Nyangere, that's a Nyangere. So, some of the things, so, ideas, a lot of phenomena, not. So, some of the and then Sanjay the song that it. Lama the Sanjay the Lama the to the song with it, covering young the similar Taba and the legend that got some was a control. It is also covered. Smarter places or dumb place. Dumb place in the that are divided, the matter. So garden. Nasong give sucking, divided with sucking. Something done the thinning are not a half of Guru and Maran Chick. Matching him with the so what? No body, no body. No body, mortal. No former. Jamaica, Pobara. Egypt, Chile, American. So what? Then, me inside, tangible million which inside. That's also around the Jordan. That but the run fall up and get them around to Zodia. Lama in it, Java in it, Deromina, Getserina, Gemina, High in it, low in it, Church, Muranda, and some like. Java the Lama is one is given our son to make up at the time check that. Get Nina, getting the number of some of them, and read it. So, some of you. Gyatrul Domba Soma can read. Germany Domba Soma than Kajan the Touch God and not some of God. That's a Magyar Chizanti, Mertuma. Not thousand, not dancing somewhere one day at the time to some good times. That's just some woman. Not a nobody can read. So, some of them millions of Chipama, run around and run around the summers upon that. Then you genie run his pomba, the car, care hopeless already what they did. Then after steps are going to do Conjoson and do. Chi Conjoson and Banana. Nanga Conjoson, Lama Yedam Kando, Toshina, then Banana. Oh, no, I got in the Tsar to good. A long good. Till a chucker and done. Oh, Yansan get in the more around you to just summer. The Jackson. Yeah, but it. The man over around you to just send you the Bama on the day give it Mason than the day down. Even more around you to just send you the matters. Chip will not go to some imagine that they're not buying to put some over marriage. Lina some your Magivata Dosana. They don't come out. They don't know. Imagine that Ngöndro is control like that, and Sangi control, Chip control, Demi control, and all you know, buy in. Sangi is some the opposite of the Nathan Doga. The control some other curtain. Nathan control some more comfort, face chair, and not in back. But yes, some of the time. None chamber the punch chamber the current big dog, big noise. That's all garden work. But you put that in Chichena. Chichena Sum Gokor Tamara. African the then music, big dog, but after work. It doesn't open possibility. The less social between the social, the social, Tamba, social, just a step system. In Tabachi. Social commission. Tang has done the Dorjisem son and his Dorjisem, Big Bashazi, the sub organization, Shigum and the in the Jamaican Lama, Sangara, Children, General. Never told you something. Then you turn it in the control subject, clear about the color. No, Basan give by none. The one mushy, the Basan can maroon for it. Braver than that, the one braver than the Mario, but I'm young girl, sing the Marons and Yungo. Think go back, he didn't Marons a cable, the Basan. Top 100 check them and some get I'm charging me, Jada, the time check for it, so the time, so the time check for it. That's only not getting in that not buying a center, Marons and Nobas and Gentlemen, Jumans. You told me Kunjosan about the car. I just jumped at that. The Basha was come to shower, jump it. Don't you think not some German to get that? Egypt to the December. And the December Massa had the December, of course. Kunjosan in what's talking, never told you. I can't do that in Jessica. Made chance and never told you that dog marriage. Johnson, I never told you that which Johnson you give that take it over. So the really marathon of the outcomes of the Johnson. Mother Sabai left so sergeant. In never told you didn't cheat that you think you took Mother Pisa here to take it over. Ngöndro. They sent you the same thing the Tonga Dan Maran system. Zamdan, things that is the year they got away. What doesn't you? The Basha of the Korean Arabs. Same thing. Manner.
comments that I've been making about impermanence. Am I leading you astray? Am I just lying? Well, look for yourself. This is something you can investigate. See for yourself whether you, your body, the world around you is impermanent or impermanent. It's fine not to be Buddhist. That is, this is not a Buddhist truth. This is something that is accessible for anyone. We can investigate whether, regardless of our religious affiliation or worldview, we can investigate for ourselves whether sentient beings are impermanent or whether they are impermanent. Likewise, we can investigate the nature of actions and their consequences. We can look at the theme of karma and investigate that to quite some extent as well. So there's much that can be explored. Explorations have been made. The West is very strong in some types of exploration, for example, like exploring the moon. But in order for the worldlings to get to the moon, Americans get to the moon, then a lot of technology was needed. A lot of science and technology was needed. Great big machines were needed to get up to the moon. Whereas in contrast, if you like to visit another realm, for example, like the lower realms, you can get there with no machine, with no rocket. That is, doesn't require any technology at all. In fact, I think we can all be assured that we've already got our one-way tickets. It's not a return ticket. We've already got our tickets, so we will definitely be explorers of other realms of existence. And then we already have our reservations are made, kind of like Hotel Hell, Restaurant Avicii. We already have our reservations are made. We will know what hot hells are like, cold hells are like, and it does. And if we think, oh, but not me, because I'm American. That's not something Americans do. Or I'm Chinese, or I'm Tibetan. What benefit is there in that when it comes to karma and the consequences of karma? The interesting thing about these lower realms of existence, these miserable realms of existence, it seems like all of the great religions of the world, very much including Christianity, all affirm the existence of these miserable states of existence. I don't know of any major religion that doesn't. In any case, it certainly is the case that it's not just Buddhism, or the Buddha himself, or the Buddhist tradition, that asserts the existence of miserable states of existence. And moreover, this is not just Tibetan Buddhism, it's all of Buddhism. All of Buddhism also affirms the relationship of cause and effect, of actions and their consequences, and the benefits of engaging in virtue. So there's a very, very large-scale consensus here. And with that in mind, then it should all come back, point to the same direction. And that is now is the time to prepare. Prepare for death, prepare, devoting ourselves to Dharma practice. And not just kind of rest on our haunches with feeling, oh, but I'm a proud person. These comments that I was making yesterday. I'm proud, I'm proud. Well, however proud you are, however arrogant you may be, you won't be for long. You may be a hero now, but when you're on the verge of death, how many people are really heroes then? How many people are really proud and arrogant when they're facing death? On the contrary, people aren't proud then. That's a time when they're trembling, they're crying, they're pooping in their pants, they're peeing. How many people are really happy when they're facing death? How many are really taking a heroic stance? Think about it. I think most people really face death with fear, not heroism. So now is the time to practice, to learn through hearing, thinking, meditation, and recognize that to the extent that we have engaged in non-virtue, then we should be asking ourselves very, very urgently, what's to be done? If we've not lived flawless lives, if we have committed non-virtue, what's to be done? Take refuge. There's outer refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. There's the inner refuge. And as we take refuge in the Buddha, recall that the Buddha's central message was that he is there. He says, "I show you the path to liberation, but whether or not you follow it, that's really up to you." The Buddha is the path to the revealer of the path to liberation and enlightenment. And with that recognition, we may take the outer refuge, we may take the inner refuge, we may take the secret refuge. But it's up to us whether we really follow the path. And so many of us are really stubborn. We get access to the teachings, but still don't know, really haven't understood what are the true causes of happiness, what are the true causes of suffering. In the midst of that, what's the basis for pride? We still have the sense of being special, being superior to other people. What's the basis of such arrogance? If we really knew what was going on, we'd recognize that we are more better understood as objects of compassion. Within this broader context of samsara, where are we located? Are we really so smart? Does our present situation, does that indicate great smartness, or does it indicate that we're rather dumb? And what are we doing in terms of accumulating the causes of joy and sorrow? Again, whether we're men or women, whether we're old or young, Chinese, Tibetan, American, Westerner, all of this is irrelevant. Rinpoche said, so what? So what? Now is the time that we are endowed with this precious human life, freedom and opportunity. It's a time to achieve meaning, time to achieve a meaningful life. Whether we're monks, whether we're lamas, whether we're high or low status, whatever we may be. We can look to the great masters of the past and see some of them were novices, some of them, that is, novice monks or novice nuns, some of them were fully ordained. Why did they feel they needed to take such ordination when we feel we don't? Or those of us who, whether or not we have ordination, many of us have taken samayas, and yet we don't keep them. Take on these solemn pledges, and then after we've taken them on very solemnly, then suddenly become very casual about them. We say, are we really crazy here? What's the point of taking samayas and not keeping them? As we think about these things, don't point to somebody else. Point to yourself. And recognize just how hopeless this is. I mean, so just hopeless. That we get ourselves in such a mess. So then it's time, when we recognize our hopeless situation, then it's time really to go for refuge. Again, outer refuge, inner refuge, secret refuge. Refuge right down to the level of the essential nature of emptiness, the manifest nature of clarity, the all-pervasive compassion. Taking refuge on that deepest level. This is very good. On the other hand, if one is taking this very esoteric type of refuge, the secret refuge, or the kind of the Vajrayana mode of refuge, but still one doesn't keep ethics, one doesn't avoid non-virtue and apply oneself to virtue, then no matter how deep this refuge is ostensibly, it really is nothing. So as for myself, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. I regard myself as a Buddhist. I am a Buddhist. And yet, I just turn my back. So often I've turned my back on the actual, it's like turning my back on the Buddhas themselves, turning my back on the teachings of the Buddha. This is something we commonly do, just as we turn our backs on them. And then we get to get intoxicated or infatuated with names, celebrities, big names, and so forth. We like these. But this is just all a form of self-delusion. When it comes to recognizing that we have engaged in non-virtuous behavior, then some people think, oh, I've engaged in some non-virtuous behavior, I better then practice Vajrasattva, as if that's the one key, the one possible way of purifying negative karma. It's not the only way. Go back to refuge. Always go back to refuge. When you're truly taking refuge, then the four remedial powers of remorse and so forth, those are complete, they're implicit in taking refuge. There is no higher source, there's no higher basis for purifying negative karma than in taking refuge, the objects of refuge. There's nothing higher than that in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So it's important for us to know exactly, recognize within our lives what is non-virtuous, on what occasions to engage in non-virtue. We're experiencing the non-virtue itself, and that means we will experience the causes of our own behavior. And so recognizing that non-virtue is taking place, then it's a time for authentically feeling a sense of regret or remorse as we look to the past. And then as we look to the future, then develop this very strong resolve. This is about ourselves, this very strong resolve to avoid such non-virtuous behavior in the future. And that's whether we are novices, whether fully ordained, whether we are Nakbas, Vajrayana practitioners. There's really nothing higher, there's no higher practice for purification than simply to take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha and offer confessions, disclose our unwholesome deeds to these objects of refuge. So it's not just Vajrasattva. You make a mistake if you think Vajrasattva is the only practice by means of which you can purify negative karma. I'm certainly not saying that Vajrasattva is unnecessary. This is not worthwhile practice. Of course it is. All of the three refuges, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, are all present in Vajrasattva. But don't think the Vajrasattva practice is the only way that you can purify negative karma. Also among the preliminaries when you're engaging in the prostrations, well, who are you prostrating to? This is called the Dengitop, the power of the reliance. It's one of the 4 remedial powers for purifying negative karma. So as you're offering prostrations, this too is a way to purify negative karma. Likewise, when you're making mandala offerings, to whom are you making these offerings? This too is the Dengitop, the power of reliance. You're making these offerings to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, to the Lama. That too is a purificatory practice. And likewise, when you're cultivating bodhicitta, you're cultivating this and aspiring for enlightenment, you cultivate bodhicitta in the presence of the objects of refuge. Once again, the power of reliance is there. So cultivating bodhicitta, this too is a very powerful means for purifying negative karma.
Ini science orang de nashtar samare ta kawan do boys. To sange jiju. Orang shini ila jaman to demba, maran to demba. Maran de chin song. Inda samla ken samla. Orang ke jiju mombos biara. Dona heavy do chon ram ram mombos kawan inda na top. Ini jiju mombos do ba. Heavy so the shit somewhere maybe Mongos Jimmy Yara. Thank you, Stop. So now the Sami there, Ginger, the Sunday, which I like the conversion, Sunday Purangu, then Dow, Purangu, to buy something. Very good. Puram mustn't buy the day. Then you get your money. You don't send a gold money. Fine gold money. It doesn't do. What doesn't do? Say, person to can something make about it. Can't just take it to it. Shabachin and other daughters came around. Very odd. I think it up and there's a Dandini statue vicar married. The matter they might dark courage and move, check their dinner. Get on with Namza Pony and can get on with Doma for someone can get them back. Then can't bother with her. Yes, so say, so the children you buy after Gamma gets so much time. Children, young papas of the cannot disease them and they think stop them in Piccolo. In Jimmy, then you stop. You know, something bombard of some net hours and around to Mana, around to Mana, Timber Tapa, Tapa Zanke, around so stubborn nothing, Timber Tapa, then, and around the teaching, one of some day surely then some gay, person, Jimmy Pacha the Chipan, sounds on a never as one. The rest she is the way. Yena it's a but some people kept on with it. Some people she just go away, don't get young. Some sending them out of the signed it document, of course, some get tribal. Think I don't check. I think Yena, then you got that and then they got. Or think you to me every day. Yes, and I'll put them around to later. Something. But anyway, Naranchi, the Bagyo Naranchi stuck here. Gyason and Naranchi stuck here. Shapachin and Naranchi stuck here. Gopachin and Regretchin and Naranchi Regretchin. And all by the time Mugiwa supplements and Tamche, but Tamche, see, something will go my something. Naranchi Tamche. Tamche. Teni shabaga si jogarach. Arre maranchi jogar, maranchi ma. Ugyasan maranchi jogar. Come to the chile. Ya pore. As hato patel parche da gelbag samji indiro. Tada parche hinaya samji indiro. Ate mahayana mendo, bhajayana mendo chitina. Maybe Karkipa, maybe Nyingmapa, maybe Sanjapa, maybe Chanamba, Kapachayo. Sangye. Kaman Jugna, like Gage, Mambos, Kanin Zina Yachibare. For example, Alimira Yudana, Shabne Yune Alimira, Pone Langa Alimira, Nune Yuna Alimira, Shani Yune, Charlotte Nation, Children, Sange, Kani Yune, California. Then you go on Bazaar. Young man touching mother, and the children down to Bazaar. Some hippie children are children.
Ngöndro. Hippie 이거. Ngöndro.
Children go to Bama.
그래요. 지난번에는 내가 고치 책인다.
But today, I'm
히피치.
What's that?
히피사파. 그래. 히피센바. Oh yeah. So again, I've been emphasizing refuge a lot, but of course it's not just refuge per se. I mean, all of these practices of prostration, all forms of Dharma. I keep on using this term, Dengito, which is one of the four remedial powers, the power of reliance. Well, it's not just refuge, it's not just prostration, it's all of our Dharma. All of Dharma practice provides us with this power of reliance that enables us, helps us to overcome, to purify negative karma from the past. And any manifestation of the representation of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, any form of Dharma, Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all of these are the power of reliance. We may think that the Buddha has passed away, that he's gone. In one respect, yes, he's no longer here physically, as he was before. But on the other hand, it certainly is also true that there are many followers. There have been followers of the Buddha ever since then. It's great beings of the past, just like you can have one primary hippie, and then other hippies follow. Even after one leader hippie dies, then they're making a lot of other people kind of smoking in that person's wake. So likewise, the Buddha has passed away, but there are many followers of him, and these too provide this power of reliance. There are many tulkus nowadays still alive, and these are true. These provide us with this power of reliance. They're to help us. That is, our engagement with them can help purify negative karma. So tulkus as such, then again, any representation of the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. We have not just this one beautiful statue of Buddha Shakyamuni, but all of the other representations of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind here in this one temple. All of these provide us with the power of reliance. And then in terms of the Sangha as well, there are novice monks, there are fully ordained monks, the ordained ones, these are called Gendumba, the ordained Sangha. These provide us with the power of reliance. Likewise, Dharma of any sort, any kind of Dharma we've engaged in, all of that too is the power of reliance. So on the one hand, we say the Buddha died, the Buddha passed away into nirvana. What he was really doing on that occasion was showing to the world, once again, a final lesson in the reality of impermanence and death. But when we look at the very word Buddha in Tibetan, Sangye, Sang, is one who has dispelled the two types of obscurations, who has brought to perfection, complete expansion, all virtues. Such a person in reality is beyond death, is achieved an essential state of immortality. So there's no real death for the Buddha, and there's no end to the Buddha's manifestations until the karma of all sentient beings comes to an end. And then there will be countless manifestations of the Buddha. So the Buddha, in a real sense, has never passed away, but continues to manifest for the sake of all sentient beings for as long as karma remains, for as long as sentient beings remain. But we are the participants here. We are the participants in non-virtue. We're the participants in virtue. It is we who experience remorse, that we who disclose or confess our unwholesome deeds of the past. So we are the participants in all of this, of virtue and non-virtue. And likewise, as we engage in the four remedial powers, it's we who are making the resolve. We may make this in our mind's eye in the presence of all the Buddhas, but really this resolve is primarily made to ourselves, this very strong resolve from such non-virtue, I shall refrain in the future. Likewise, we disclose it, we make it evident to ourselves, the unwholesome deeds that we've engaged in. Now we may be thinking, well, where are these Buddhas? Where are these enlightened ones? Are they mostly in the Gelugpa tradition, or Gaikyu, or Jonangpa, or Sakyapa, Nyingmapa? Buddhas are Buddhas. Buddhas are Buddhists. It's not a matter of sect or tradition. It's like there are many gateways to Buddhahood, but all of these gateways lead to the same result, the same state of realization, the same state of enlightenment. It's like coming to Alameda. One can say all roads lead to Alameda. That is, if you're trying to get to Alameda, you can get there from the west, from the south, from the north, from the east, from the north, from any direction. You can always get your way to Alameda. There's not just one gateway to Alameda, and likewise, there's not just one gateway to Buddhahood. There are many, many gates. And so there's Hinayana, there's Mahayana, Vajrayana, and there are other spiritual traditions altogether. And so spiritual traditions, there's even the Chuluk. Chuluk is the word spiritual tradition or religious tradition, spiritual lineage. There's even the spiritual lineage of hippies.
Lots. Emergences, matching capacity, matching practitioners, matching Tibetan matching capacity, matching members, coming here, when they are in the year, matching. My unique opinion, not nobody thinking that kind of. Nobody in my country. I'm not keeping the country of him. Keep it on the other half of it. I don't say. I say, get proud of the Tibet. People lump something, jump in, don't tell it. Then I take some doing that she nigga so what? Okay, that lump some such but to hide others up. What did you get a shame with yourself? I'm special, I am this. Is there any what? What's that? It's on the naked. Don't care about my in thought. It's about my in thought. Jungle body. They give me some of them. Me, get their own killer, some of them. Me, turn on American and I don't cheat them in Europe. Private things, no. Private property and some of them. I got confidence or something. So the Lama in that, Travail in that, Maskia Pomo in that, Jedi in that, I don't know the system, the water by in that. So, not to cut this of the chip, but the madam says something finish about it. Zacho, no battle dog. Picture, I did a number. Chiba, not Chiba in the I'm the teacher, something. So what? You're a teacher. God will care. The less also we get to know about some of the skin. You can put what? No comes to top at the government, comes to Tibetan region, get to top at government. Gets wrong, cheat and penny, and I give or get the stand up. Are they not stupid? I think it's very smart. You don't know anything, I don't know. king that in Ijiromba, Diablo, but they started. No one, it's a day, they're going to the rest of the day. Long time in chop come along. Kim chop them, Kim them chop the carrier, down it of mines, down it. Why? But somebody will chop the carrier, send it to right. Send it to the right. You're then you chop the carrier, pass him chair, not care my down them chop. But doctor on sim la tawans, so to similar. Tanshi Boyachima. What? Repan Matana, the Porva, Atomena, Tanshi Boy. They took a convention. I never took Kamala. Going on. Never Shibati. Around because of never Shibati. Only Shibati.
Iti yang kisah na
I know. I Nyembo. Nyembo will chop come.
lo nyebo kichok lo.
Around the Shibati. Remember, Cuban chop carrying the distinct them. Tumbines, Cuban chop. Distinct Janta. Chumayan, distinct means Janta, and Tumba China, Yabara. Chidilla Rachu was a something, whatever, hockey kind is based on the distinct mountain back. Then distinct the mountain, then the Chilla mountain. Only Jim Chop, Yong by Yong, Murder Chotaker, Yong by Chori Chon Robio. Murder Chop, Yong by Cherry, so I turned out. To talk from that, combat of Golden Johnson, the latest to talk for a sign. To talk in John, Doba J. Chong from Island. Doja Chong from Doba Chong from. After the matter, Nathan Doba Cherry Cherry, Lama in the term, and she keep go to Pandas in it. Many can does it. Jumba them choked. They said, Comater, man, you watch of the Sozobi, Machapa, Chaban, Yaba. Go up, section comes out the girl. Same Joat. No, I have Chibat, Zoban choked. A man says on Tosas Gayal, I needed the room that Yarn said at the note. Chum chop, same joy. Zopen,
Tim kichok.
Chicken chop, same joy.
No.
Zopen chop the man's house on my that's what.
No.
My man's house on my. Zombie Jim chop. Shut down, shut, like I'm over the shut down the shut down.
Shut up.
Shut no let them so. You tell you got tell them to the center of that. You got in a project, Rama was some lot of 16 and a chewing and a project was or something. Then, don't even show my don't even show. Cheers on the same about that sometimes in so low much by low much low helmet change much. But Tabai Taba. And then Nazi and Hinzi. Matapatan, what was some chicken never. I only the thoughts of Tona in Gandwa. Nacha, a chat. 그러니까 인치들 그런 게 힘들더라 제발. 아차 저기도 뜻이야. 시럽 김촉 평라연 내는 전반에 봐. 시럽 김촉들 전반에 봐. 내오 대상은 전반 중에 근데 전반도 결혼서 삼아야 나 마음만 결혼서 결혼 지gan 되나 결혼가 하라 전반 손나야 야방하는 데나 하래 시간은 전반에 싶어서 자기 그 어떤 전반에 자기 그 딱바래서 그러니까 똥반이 레서 똥반이 레서 똥반이 레서 인사선 찬지 가능이나 정말 근데 전반에 되는 내리다는 갑자기 막 그래야지 대만 정말 그렇죠 나도 저기 시간이 결혼해 가리交流 전달을 하고 싶은 상계 가는 성명 상계 전반에 프로차스 상계 레지스턴스 같은 상계 저게 돈이 돈바이 이렇게 돈바이 지역에 나서 돈이 됐다 에 상계 이제 간디바가 처제 첨부에 나서 되게 되는 에 상계 님마가 그쪽바 첨부적인 에 상계 이제 따바야 버죠 다 있는 선들 뭐야 예수님 좋아져 와 나는 중요한 걸 가르쳐도 굉장히 중요한 걸 촉신제도라 말하면서 촉신은 님바 발상 내게서 님바로 하루도 치마는 하루도 치마여라 촉신제도 님바 발상 내게서 세나 제소세고 말이다 촉신 이 뭐 동생 연세 촉신은 뭐도 가리는 동생 동안 건조건 맞추나 아니야 건조건 맞추는 저쪽인지 건조성을 태어만 지생 맞잖아 지생 잡지는 건조성을 지금 맞잖아 저쪽인지 건조건 맞추나 맞지 태어를 못 하게 되는 내가 견도 저래 아는 건 못세 세세에서 뭔가다 나빠야 돼 맞아기래 저러면서 porto challenge 태겨 그래서 그 진짜 그래서 알아듣 좀 맞잖아 아니 저쪽이요 저쪽 건너가야 돼 장바 열었어 저처럼 영마성마 장비 쉬다 있는 게 생마영나 조바인지 반대 다른 뭐 초시 김바다 김을 바로도 침바다 나다 동생 이용뭐 동생 김바다지 원조가 마케라 특정다지 조도 바로도 침바다다 그게 좀 늦한제가 쪽도 가려래 쪽도 존재했어 제가 존재죠 제바체나 삼바체나 오바체나 자난 차조 성승제 월소서 같은 존재제도 전부랬어 마다kan 된다 뭔가 손들다 저 다kan 인지 능력이 장쳐서 이제 그거는 상례야 된지 그런지 왕선이야 저런 좀 too many I'm confused 그러 내가 말이다 상계를 들어가 청주선을 David to say to some of them to be Captain Shingomara, on the Bejan Bogomare, Tokosan Bogomare, Bejan Chipore, wisdom, Dharma wisdom. Tokosan position, Sangi there, since as Andam Shipper, Anton Dripsat, and Hudson Ravay put in the book for Tandy, the Captain Shingomara.
So in the midst of all of this, again, there's this persistent tendency to think that, well, I am knowledgeable, I'm a wise person, I really know what's going on, I'm a practitioner. And they feel, I know, I'm rich, and so forth and so on. Well, such people are found in the West, many people in the West, but these are really this type of arrogance, this kind of self-importance is everywhere. And wherever it is, there's no benefit. Just thinking I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist. There's no benefit in that either. Thinking that I know, there's no benefit in that. And the sense of being pride or having this sense of pride and so on is simply nothing more than a disgrace. So what? So what if you have a lot of knowledge and so forth? It makes one puffed up. It just makes oneself feel special, and then one doesn't listen to others. And this is not a sign of wisdom, it's a sign of lack of wisdom, that one really has not understood even the nature of actions and their effects. So whether you're a lama, a monk, or whether you're a leader of any sort, it's for all of us it's important to be careful and not just to be holding on to our status or these self-designations. I being a teacher, I'm this, I'm that, just all garbage. Most important, the most important is that we really overcome our kleshas, our mental afflictions. So we can see these monks to my left, they're relaxed, just simply sitting quietly. We don't hear them making ostentatious claims like, I know this, I know that. So the fact that they're so easygoing, they're relaxed, do you think they're stupid? Do you think they're dumb? Is that what makes them so quiet and relaxed? From my perspective, no, that's a sign that they're smart. They're not holding on to this kind of hierarchy of thinking I'm higher than other people, I have a higher status. People who do cling to that, who do cling to their own superiority, their loftiness over others, this is just indicating the strength of their own kleshas. So, quoting from the text, briefly, the author Patrul Rinpoche speaks of the finest form of wisdom. What is the finest form of wisdom? It's realizing non-self. What is the finest form of, it's called tsumba in Tibetan, dignity. What's the finest form of dignity, like virtuous dignity? It's really subduing one's own mind. What's the finest excellent quality? It's altruism. What is the finest quintessential advice? It's maintaining mindfulness, introspection, and conscientiousness in one's deportment, one's conduct. What is the greatest antidote for mental afflictions and the like? What's the greatest antidote? It's realizing the lack of inherent nature of phenomena. What's the finest form of conduct? It's living in harmony with others, not being like a porcupine where you're poking everybody around you. What's the highest siddhi, the highest kind of achievement? What's the highest siddhi? It's having fewer kleshas. And what's the highest practice? It's having few desires. The finest generosity is non-attachment. The finest ethics is having a peaceful mind. The finest patience, we're moving now through the 6 perfections. Going to the third one, the finest patience, is taking the lower place, taking the place lower than others, not grasping onto the positions of high prestige, high status. The indication of the greatest zeal is actually freedom from activity, not taking on projects and getting busier, but actually releasing the grasping to all such kind of projects and busyness. The indication of the highest form of meditation, or dhyana, is having an unwavering mind. And the highest wisdom is having no grasping freedom from grasping. Even in a state regeneration practice, grasping tends to crop up when one holds on to the notion, I am the deity, or this is the palace, or even this is emptiness. As soon as there's a sense, this is, and the conceptual designation goes out, grasping, that is one more manifestation of grasping. Buddhas are free of all grasping, have transcended all grasping. So whatever kind of terminology one uses, whether it's Mahashunyata, great emptiness, or Mahamudra, or Dzogchen, all of these, each one of these is Buddha. Each one of these is Buddhahood. Turning now to another section of the text, drawing from the teachings of Jigme Lingpa. It says, ask what is the nature of contentment? What is the nature of contentment? Contentment is of the nature of the first of the six perfections of generosity. Contentment is a sign of generosity. And the essential nature of that is the awareness, the mind of emptiness. The nature of ethics is not disparaging or finding fault with the three jewels, the objects of refuge. The nature of patience is that one's mind is unwavering, not distracted in terms of one's mindful awareness. The indication of zeal or enthusiasm, the fourth of the six perfections, is that one has a sense of is that its zeal facilitates or acts as an aid to all of the other all of the other perfections. So I won't go on any further. This is all written, and this is all well translated in the text. So I don't want to go too much into it, because then people feel overwhelmed. They say, oh, that was too much, I get confused. But it's not just me who's making these points. These teachings come from a Namanikaya of the Buddha. So it's come from the Buddha himself. And that such a being does not lie. They don't give teachings for the sake of money, or prestige, or wealth. They already have wealth. They have the wealth of wisdom of Dharma. They already have prestige. They already have high position. That is, they've achieved the state of a Buddha. And they've already achieved their own ends. That is, they've brought to culmination their own interests, their own well-being. So with that type of platform or foundation, there's no need, no incentive for them to delude anyone else.
나랑서 그러고 기반이나 시다요 봐. 시시고 뭐지 알았어. 내시 니고 니 약발에 시다요 봐. 나 시시고 보이던 뭐지 시를 시서서 show up boasting. 소설 보면 약간 말해. 마마 만드는 거를 봐. 거기는 그때 아저라 언제 저기 알아. 언제 때에 그런 맛도 잔다 가를 더 마마 잡아 서지는 개발 전에 너 저거 말이야. 그런 거를 때 저거 저지 맞고 그도 성지 제공다 저거 저지 마. 맞아. 뜻이 인지 버려. Pada itu kalau desa tu bagi tu ni thak se lama ini nak kalau ini kalau macam dia mahu kalau dah high ke turun tu kalau titon deker yang dah kita lama sangat jadi ada hol yang titon kasan
Ya.
Ada ni cuma orang bocil ada. Pertama ini lama membayar. Katilah kalau hinji magic kalau tidak ada kalau kita sanjay no lalu saya dah kalau jangan tu sini tu deh. Mari ni dong kalau macam tu dong. Kudong. Mungkin jangan kesi mari kita macam. Tu macam mana tu tu sampai. Kalau orang macam tu lama dah dah kena tu. Jine den dene atte naam jine mano chal Berkeley ne den chu toya inane aparte te da Another position doesn't appreciation change. Never change the name, you better I can't nine years into the chocolate, then the chocolate bandara. Solan the Nijanda, the Kimizanda, and two of watching my children done what it is. Margot, Maran to take to go, Maran to take. In the Pobat, you tash it to the Yaron and chicken. And that's it. I pop up down it. That much too much here, the run, and the hair, arrogant, and Rajon over after some. But then you try to shoot in there, concern young Tagan. Young soccer in the Torres coming on the day. What the country is here, and she got in it. Kayapuyam can make Zanat and the train. Dharma chair. Hollis on the what's I give it? Why did the chance to chicken? So we see the Don Yapper on the Tikarina chin, the Yabushred, to the chair. Jena young millage in the Migate and the Robachik in the temple. But some chicken one. No, some. There are Rajoda was the big Christians inside something. But we cannot say the rich in that one at the name. Come by jumping with that. Why? Engine with it cannot change it. Not then there was some chinos at someone. Well, 30 years almost.
Arrogance.
And then the lady Berkeley and Maran to Chutsoya did that. Archie one good then he put his potato how could it be? I don't know. At the Kipchap Tony, Konagio, who I got it? Who did it do? The mother, Posa, the mother trainer, learning something. Pokadina, mother, a robaching and many cuts in that. Berkeley, the university got cheated. Zakans, we are more Zakans. Who should go? What they come. Who are going? Not something they should talk about it. Then you see good program. And then it come back to high conference court. Which program? They will take a program. They will Los Angeles. They might can go there, can and then because he conference. Zambian there is one. Chicken, 2 million and the chicken. Martin did get come to teacher over there and get comes. Okay, yeah, wonderful. Say, yeshing the car hop over the chicken. He got sort of cheetah. Transition. Tomorrow, the chicken. Naran catch Mara, NGK machine. The nature of the Chija looks like the American looks like a trip over it. American looks a parallel American that you made at and carry American looks like American did March to check what the he can go to do. He looks like the American looks on the machine. She develops an energy. Then I get it. What the American looks at you. The time that I keep up something and in Natanda with the cancer, with the Tanda talk to the work. That Majida and I was shit at it. Done. So it's a tea parts of the Toronto, Hashib and Jason Jupiter. You Joe. Somebody who do chair together. Why she didn't know about that? I got the half of the rain. Same but by a half of the rain. Following young with the Kanga half of the rain. But I'm around to young year, Ponjosumata, never a half of the rain. Ponjosum Sangika said it, so what than the Sangir. Sangika, some Simpson Tamsik, Tondala Sunya, Charan of Tondalas and Kodak, Lavia Mari to Sunya Mare. And I saw what. Ombo Ramdan Hassan than Damatan Sunyane. Chupunda. Just the age of it, Chikichigla, Pachi, Macharan Saya, Nanya, Nyambati, Sabatola, Pachi, 마시나 사바체 정신시 소소리 년 전지 제들이 너네 진짜 다 하원다고 내비비가 내 다듬선 여바처럼 된 원래 뭐 특성 제사가 안내돼 되더라래 세선 제사 서 아니 향고야 제대로야 제대로야 그래서 인터마이 말만 라마 뭔가 되게 딱 왜. Religious and others read the Manda. Shiraya for a Kanga the Payment. Chichiga Tin or Robachi than the Tini or something. None of my burden Zeman. Then I Manka, Kashi, Lendi, Dada, Scar, and other Kashi. Chutomare. Children to Toma, Chuto, and Robachi. Photo the patients are the Omar. One children to Tamba, Chutoka mean, Gutenberg. And the Robani chamber got it. When they complaining, you know, to chill over it, but covered it. Maybe this Chuta Alamira Kermas they give it. Chutokan in the sea to the Vena, Chitilla, Rovachina, Gotuba Keraba to Gotuba Gena. Ordinary Yapon Kinder to some of Matam. Chula Jachi or something. Chula Jachi. Whatever my choose up to near the but it's some other Robert and some other hanger. Madame the Kerama, Lama Kerama, Tashi children did that, and Rumbachi, oh, broken chichi, or Rumbachi, Gyatrul Rinpoche, he can buy it, he can bring it. I'm getting sick and tired. Then my group that I think imagine wrote that in the Tuchotnaya. Chichena maybe made cooks in the cemetery. And then maybe comes up there, jig, then, hey, what do we need to do? We need money, or we need this, we need that. You watch it over there. Cemetery, Chichena, my roll of than Kevin to Pen. Chuto Ganga, so. Jagan the Patrul Rinpoche, so the Lama for Samatam Yaposhi, some man of my Yapone. So the Sosa, the Bagan, Simjin, Yan Choba, Majimba, Simjin Pantose. Man of Samatam, she had no why not carrying of touching. Corrods don't make our later. They did that come to carriage in a chair. Some girl. Oh, then on the Tundam do that, Jola, Gacha Chomsu. And they split out teacher. Was some chicken garbage. Mamba, they cannot too much in the chisel. And they took courage in the why you stuck here. Must stuck my general power get up married. Long power must stop that someone. Mother Tomboy Nala Yondan neighbor, take a must stop that. Enji on the man, your mother, Pogi on the your mother, Chubi on the your mother. Then Nala gets a mare, local mare. Let me start. Start the one, Yar Bachida, Lama Pata, Enjoy Bachida, Contra Gaga. I lost somebody. Now you're there, you have lost somebody. Who never got lost? But who never seen up the Latin than Tana to take it. What's the young to what? Maggie and then come back. Around 20 in a council night, how long I can't hear Ramari then. That was a very good. Mother. Major son of my father, stop on it. That's also good. Yalong and Yalong. They need to say, Mammy, then you must have Mammy, then you go to what? But then pass out Master Charon to Kanga, Mammy, then you have some of the one. You need that at the cousin there. Mother? Gana? Margan? Mother? Gana? Mammy, then can you? Not that thing that you don't say, Mammy, the Mammy, the truth of someone and the roll of Mammy, and I needed this, I needed that. You took on the back. That's it. 아직 마찰을 고기를 찍기를 마 이제 고기를 깨던 사람은 근데 상계를 소라도 상계를 제치고 소라도 그런 상계 뭐야 저런 가는 라마라게 순처죠 상계라 치라게 겐다라게 순처죠 그래서 본적으로 소라도 받은 말에는 자네적인 도지세 바에는 상계면 저방 뭐야는 나처럼 프라이체사 가장 많이 말해 인고 리포트인데 답하자는 거지. 얘는 좀 밀을 컴플레인이 그말 뭐거든. 그거는 동안 상계면 잡아지 않냐로 알려다 던도라 리프트 센션 탐자라 현재 제사다 뭐야. 저는 저 인지부 직자를 받는 거버넌트 보이프렌드 결혼 담배도 봐. 인지 많이 가나? 아니 상계는 현재까지 잠들 결혼 뒤 손은 대가로 좀 직딩들 근데 쉬운 거 말을 손은 거 죽수가다. 따바까지 잠들 결혼 좀 따바도 자는 뒤 손은 직딩이 쉬운 거 말. 따바야네 현지야네. 그러니까요. 손진이 가와요. 따바네 현지네. 인치야만. Complaining, not what the Zambalinga council Galatan, not sort of complaining chip.
Chatsana Ramara, Endemido Rinpoche, Kantutu. So on the one hand, erudition is a good thing. To learn a lot of things, to understand a lot of things, all of this is good. In and of itself, that is, by nature, it's good. On the other hand, if as a result of one's erudition and one becomes boastful or showing off, then the goodness is gone. Then it's no longer any good. Some years ago, in one center in Hawaii, there was the chanting leader, the Umze. And this person was so puffed up that, I'll say it's a he, just when whoever came to the center, he always placed himself above everybody else. He had like no shame and no sense of kind of humility, no kind of shame at all. Always sat above everybody else. Always had to be in charge. So other very fine lamas visited that center. Rahop Dupten Kasang visited, Nejun Rinpoche visited. But no matter what lamas came, this fellow would always place himself on a higher place, in a higher status, and he always had to be leading. He had to be the chant leader. He wouldn't accept or regard anybody else as being valid, or as valid or genuine. Even a disciple of Patrul Rinpoche came, treated him the same way. And this has occurred, there's been a center in Berkeley where the same type of attitude has occurred, where the leader is very arrogant. The same kind of thing happened actually at Tashi Churling. I was amazed, where people there also kind of show no type of humility, no kind of sense of shame or self-restraint. So it's good to know things, to understand things, but more importantly is that we really, the people working in Dharma centers, living in Dharma centers, being active in Dharma centers, be harmonious with each other. This is most important. That we're really, after all, one family. And when people crop up, place themselves above others, then it's really like some kind of infestation of Mara. And this is a disgrace. This is a disgrace to Dharma. I've been teaching in North America now for about 30 years or so. So I've been seeing this in various places for a long, long time. And in terms of activity right here in the Berkeley area, a few of you here. Latif, it goes way, way back. Yeshe has some experience from way back. David was living more in LA, but still has long experience here. And so you know some of the kind of the shenanigans that people get into, where one person will set himself over another, not accepting the authenticity of other teachers and so forth. Some people complained to me and said, "Oh, you need to change your teachings. You need to learn the Western customs. You need to learn American customs and so forth." I don't know these Western customs. I don't know American customs. But people keep on coming with the same complaints, same kind of imprints, same habits. But what should really bind us together is how much we share, and that is our understanding, insight in the nature of samsara, our understanding of nature of impermanence, the refuges, the basic teachings of the Buddha, and be aware that the Buddha taught to all types of beings, people in high status, low, medium, and in Dharma centers. It's important for the older students to help the young ones, and the young ones, the newer students in the Dharma centers, to learn as much as they can. And in this particular center here, in Ngöndro, you have plenty of opportunities now for hearing, for thinking, for meditation, really for learning the Dharma. You have numerous teachers. You have Tinde Dorje, Lama Time, and so this is really like a railway station. There's so many teachers coming and going, so you have wonderful opportunities for learning Dharma here. But in the midst of all of this, it's important for you not to think of this center as just being kind of the responsibility of a couple people, like, oh, this is Lindy's business, or this is Scott's business, this is their center. It's important not to do that. As much as these people are taking the leadership role and helping out with the center, it's important for everyone to pitch in. These people, Lindy, Scott, and so forth, they're not doing this for money. They're not getting any money out of this. And so it's important for everybody to pitch in. But for people who don't pitch in, who are not really contributing, and then just bring their complaints, this is worse than nothing. So let's all help each other and recognize that all of this is for the sake of serving Dharma, for the sake of serving the world of sentient beings. It's benefit for everyone. It's not just the benefit for the few. And in terms of, there's one kind of attitude I must say I'm getting sick and tired of, and that is when something breaks, if something goes awry, then people often immediately think, oh, Gyatrul Rinpoche will buy it. Gyatrul Rinpoche will pay for it, or he'll fix it up, placing all the kind of financial burden on Rinpoche. So when people get into that kind of syndrome, he says, sometimes I wonder, even after I'm dead, I'm buried, I'll be lying, my corpse will be out in some cemetery lying there. People will come like grave robbers and kind of digging me up and say, Rinpoche, we still need some stuff. And kind of going through my clothes and stuff, seeing if they can still squeeze something out of me. So maybe I should come back as a zombie, and then I can be of help further assistance. So this goes on everywhere. For 30 years now, I've been kind of spitting out Dharma. And if you wonder, well, why do we get stuck? Why do we get stuck in these same old habits? Well, it's because I can blame myself. I don't have qualities of Dharma. I don't have the noble qualities of Tibetans. I don't have noble qualities of the West. I don't have courage. And so I can take responsibility in part. There have been blessings from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, from Yawa Gamapa, from His Holiness Dzogchen Rinpoche. So certainly there's some benefit. There's benefit from blessings from these great beings. But it's important not always to be complaining, looking to somebody else, like little children calling mommy, 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 whenever something's up, whenever they need something. Then always going to somebody else for help. Or when they get older, then they say mother, mother. They're maturing, but it's the same attitude. So when people are going into that mode, then I'm thinking about the cemetery and the grave robbers. That can't help. So when we're really looking for help, what we should really be looking to is call to the Buddha with single-pointed attention, single-pointed concentration. Offer prayers of supplication to the Buddha. Take refuge in the Lama, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Apply yourself to practice, such as the reciting the mani, engaging in Genri practice, Vajrasattva practice. You can cry to all of them. You can bring your prayers of supplication to them. But in terms of complaining to each other, complaining about each other, not useful. This is just what goes on in the 6 realms of existence. Everybody's complaining in the 6 realms of existence. And if we think have problems here, things that kind of upset you, if you think are awry, place that into the larger context of all the 6 realms, and it will place in context how small the problems are here. If you can cultivate genuine compassion, even for a moment, then the merit of that would be too large for even a whole world to hold. If you can cultivate genuine faith, even for a moment, then the world would not be large enough to hold the merit from that. But if you proceed without faith, without compassion, without enthusiasm, then there's no Dharma. And all we're left with is a bunch of complaints filling the 3 realms of existence.
What you think? Mangba don't have any you cannot take it up. Concept of Janet in the Mother leader, the Yapo Yona. Leader, a Yapo. That then you know, leader is President, American President, Canada, the United than the President, Canada in 1972, one. From over the Jimmy Jackson. Kind complaining, the carry the may. From what world did change in the Quran, sorry? Didn't he complaining change in the Quran, sorry? You know, I sort of whatever I need is sort of comfortable, sort of sauce, I like them, sort of studying me. You're going to be a chichiga, chocolate, being I have some good. My Jimaji, Sinjin, and Pantopi or something, 13. In the social like that, complaining Jineo. Garbo. Protection go, that's Buba. So, bullet go on the Raguma, bulletproof.
No, that's it.
The Majin, no but child said it. You know, I he's so bad, I'm not going to fight. She's so bad, I'm not going to fight. I'm a good person, they shy away. He's a bullshit. Shy away. Help. Robert, you didn't get off. Robert, the chicken, Robert, then the carrots, then the shy away chicken, Mongoyora. I'm a good person there. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to break my samai. Samai is even too much than samai break check over. Down Mumbai, Kaulika, bigger. Shoot over. Take the check around check. Method that changing made that. I'm finished. Method. Around to Donna, Sinjin, the Tosa, the bag young one, and cannot to Donna. Bobayananda, Yamiyananda, Chijayananda, Kanga mean the Chipare, Bobala Rajan is given, Yamila Mama me. Chipara, because Bobazi then star chambers of the Dukja, just came on the Jar Mare, Yami to say that Dukja Mare. Stupid changes the Bobamaro. For me, it's a crazy American take it away. Men say that.
Yinday.
Yeah, anyway, just something. You get the mean black race and the white race and you get teach you know the Mandu. Not our business. Our business is Panda, Simata Bayan Lake Jimmy Bago, Ponjo Samatapa Jordan, stage by stage, and step by step. Chuchia. Some in the black people at in the Chias, Mesundam, Lam Manduga, Sinjin Tanjadin. White people are Menzaga Manduga, yellow people are Menzaga Manduga. Small level of Menzaga Manduga, now don't go on Menzaga Manduga. Gomara Menzagumadon, Gonava Menzagun. Sinjin Tanjad, children, Doba Young Kankalat. Wanted one share of one. Why not the chichi, the black person, yellow person, white person, green person, red person? That's what the numbers on the by teach you. You don't have Since time to Since time to take this not to do a canon. Don't say she or a since time to. Compassion for what? Charity, then the mom was a compassion. There are to Dobachem, but I got you on Dobachem, but in Chori Chantigre. Chalia Chamber and Gade, Mata Patanga, Mata Patina. Nyanga Yeti, Dobachem, and the Karinyam, Ananzo. Kato Ramadan, Kato Kaman Ramadan. Tanya taparam jam da chaya chuma kile to. Tony ke ta do Tony ke ta ka ni to. Chosen kene ma chi de na. Chadong mo sang de den. Por lo por de kile de. No ya te ta so so kyun de so so zulu tsuge den. Ai pa pa shi de ni de. Yo tuk na ngaram mo long jap ke da na yong di kale ka mo de da. Mao ba ni cha na chi. Te che. Ma so so de ne 결혼처럼 제밥 저런 그러는 거 제가 이심 나라 이심 절개를 하래. 되니 그만큼 된데 오hom에 된다면 뭐 벌써 결혼 직접 같이 찍는. 정말 쇼다. 멋진 일이가 less problem 말어. 강가 그건 시기로. 강가 용어들이 강가 이심 있을 때는 즉 말해. 그 말이지. I am in the manner I don't like to disturb the people. I don't like. Then it's chick dog, knee dog, some dog. Then they come back culture. Because some take in Jamaica, current on Jagawa, and Kena Hapuka, I can't hide. I don't do it. Just a Kara, my answer, Kanga, the Pento Goga. Then my Chicaro Chuzo in Zayana, but there's the sound of Taman and Lokerton singing what sure attended. Then Mare Nichuto, St. Jenna Pandora, got it in John Bachelor.
So looking to the future, it is necessary to have good leaders, but it's also difficult to find good leaders. If we look at just the series of U.S. presidents we've had, since I've been in North America, starting in Canada and then the United States since 1971, it seems like there's been about 10 or 11 presidents already. Each one comes up, each one complains. Each one is leader, but each one complains about everybody else. And so there's a long tradition of this. For myself, I just feel that my task is to try to serve the three jewels, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. That is, in terms of making offering, serving up to three jewels, making whatever service we can to sentient beings. But if we just confine ourselves to doing that, then in a way we become immune to the complaints of others. We become like bulletproof. And when we see discord, some people may feel, well, that person's bad, but I don't want to enter into a fight. I want to shy away from that. I want to kind of steer clear whenever we see kind of a discord or any kind of disharmony or something's not right. But this notion of, I don't want to be involved in that, I want to shy away, this is just bullshit. Whether we see discord, whether we see harmony, it's the most important that we help each other and not just respond, I'm shy, or I don't want to break my samayas. The mere fact that you enter into a fray, that you enter into a struggle where there's discord to try to help, the mere fact that you're part of that doesn't mean that necessarily that you're breaking samayas. I say this, I offer this counsel not for my own sake, in the way I'm finished, but it's for you to accumulate merit, to purify obscurations, to work for the benefit of all. Whether we're Tibetan, or Chinese, whether we're from the West, we're all human beings. This is the bottom line, the most important. We all have this in common. We're human beings. It's important not to think that, the Tibetans somehow just by their very ethnicity, that they were all good. Tibetans are all good. That's just not true. Or the Chinese, they're stupid. That's not true. Or the Americans, they're all crazy. Even I say the Americans are crazy, but they're not all crazy. And likewise, in terms of other kind of distinctions, of people being black, white, and so forth, this is not our business. These types of separations or distinctions, they're not our business. What is our business is to meditate on impermanence, meditate on cause and effect, the refuges, to do our best to practice Dharma, and not to get caught up in these other kind of distinctions. The Buddha didn't say, I'm offering this Dharma, but not to black people, or not to white people, or not to yellow people, or fat, or bald, or people who have flat noses, have long noses, people who are bald. But rather, the Buddha taught the Dharma for all sentient beings, everyone who wishes to learn Dharma. Everybody has a desire for Dharma, regardless of their race, their color, and so forth. The Buddha taught it for everyone. So, faith, and back to that, the importance of serving sentient beings, We all say this, and it's coming out of our mouths. We give lip service to this. We all say, "Oh, all sentient beings." We all use the word compassion for all sentient beings. But if that's mixed with sectarianism, with prejudice, then so what? What's the point? Or likewise, if Dzogchen, if it becomes sectarian, what's the point of that? Or Mahamudra. Mahamudra is about this one taste, the evenness of all samsara nirvana. But if we get into sectarianism, these type of prejudice, it's all gone. Or Taparapcham, the vast purity, vast expansive purity. What does that have to do with kind of sectarianism or prejudice? Likewise, the view of emptiness. What we do is we pollute all of these teachings as we just spin around in the cycle of the three poisons. So it's important for you all to do as well as you can. Just apply yourself to Dharma. On the 10th of each lunar month, then you have the puja, the ritual or the puja for Gyatrul Rinpoche. On the 25th for Yeshe Tsogya. In terms of these regular practices, it's important for you not to think, "Oh, this is Les's job. This is Les's business." These are something for everybody. Or for some people say, "Oh, I don't want to disturb people by coming in late," or what have you. And so then people don't show up at all. So what's the point of having a Dharma center like this with this large building if nobody shows up for practice? Then what's the point of building? No point at all. So the point of the practice is to be of benefit to all, not to delude anyone. There has been a lot of benefit from His Holiness Dalai Lama, from His Holiness Indigenous Rinpoche. But the point of this is not to sell Buddhism. We're not trying to sell the 1,000 Buddhas. So a number of you may be kind of wondering, why does Lama, why is he so harsh? Why is he always giving his harsh speech? Why is he scolding so much? If you wonder, then think back to the history. And you'll see that unless I am on occasion harsh, unless I scold, people don't wake up. They don't wake up. So think about this. In a way, I'm sorry. In a way, it's tough luck. Wallace, choosing Halam. Halam choosing Halam. Halam. Wallace, choose it. Wallace, one person has requested from Rinpoche the vows of refuge. Would like to take refuge, and so if there are maybe a few other people who would like to join in with that after the teaching, at the end of the teaching this afternoon, then Rinpoche will give lead a brief ceremony in taking refuge. So anybody who wants to linger afterwards may.
Okay.